Good morning. A weather watch alert as storms arrive tonight, affecting tomorrow. What about the weekend? That answer coming up.
And safety concerns for boaters on the Connecticut River as rising water and flooding continues to be an issue. What officials are warning people to be on the lookout for.
Also at 6, there is an effort along the shoreline to keep drivers safe during the dog days of summer. That and more right now on Connecticut's news station.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station begins with a weather watch alert.
Good morning. First at 6, we have a weather watch alert as we are tracking the potential for severe storms tonight. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with us and waking up here. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Keith McGilbert. Good to have you here. But first, it will be a hot one out there today. We're turning things over to meteorologist Matt Scott with these details. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Usually you get the heat, humidity, stabilize the atmosphere. Eventually you get some storms. Just need a little kicker coming in, and that's exactly what we've got on the way. Satellite radar picture is quiet for now, but let me show you the bigger picture. You've got a system well up to the north over Toronto, but it's got a front with it, and as that comes in, that's going to be causing some trouble. Overnight tonight into tomorrow, we're looking at the storm potential. It could be a little bumpy. We have an excessive rainfall outlook, which is a slight for tonight into tomorrow. We just don't really need any more rain. We're about 3 inches above normal already for the month of July, and the month is only half over. 66 to 72 is your spread on the temperatures right now. Hartford at 71. Your dew points high as well. So you're definitely going to feel every bit of it as we get into the upper 80s and you're 90 degrees today. May get an isolated shower storm today. We've talked about that. That's just that isolated typical splash and dash that summer brings. But tonight is a little more consistent. Tomorrow morning during the morning commute may be bumpy, and we'll talk about that and what's behind it coming up. 6:02, let's go to the roads right now. It's not bumpy because of the weather, but what else is going on out there?
It's not too bad out there, Matt. Some good news out there. We don't have any major crashes or incidents as of right now. I am seeing this slowdown. The DOT website reporting a delay out in the Southbury area on I-84. Over on the westbound side, traffic moving between 7 and 15 miles an hour. But as of right now, there are no crashes out there. So we are working to get more information from Connecticut State Police. It also isn't showing any road work out there. So it's a little interesting what's going on over there. We'll keep an eye on it. Rocky Hill Ferry is closed due to the flooding conditions, excessive high water, as well as the Chester-Hadlime Ferry is also closed due to the high water. So if you typically traveled the ferry, especially the one out in Chester, because Rocky Hill has been closed for several days now, just be mindful of that and seek an alternate way to get across. 91 to 84, Route 2, all looking good in and out of the capital city. Taking a live look out on the roads right now on I-91. Good morning to you here in Hartford. Things are looking great this morning. As you move closer into the capital city via I-84 eastbound from the West Hartford area, you might tap the brakes just a little bit coming into the Hartford Tunnel. We'll check back in on the roads coming up at 6:30. For now, Keith and Erica, good morning to you.
Lauren, good morning and thanks so much. Well, this morning the Coast Guard is going to start the search back up for a marina dock and multiple boats that broke loose and started floating down the river from Glastonbury.
Yeah, we've been watching a video of this, just wild. Experts saying it's a result of the river cresting here. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin live in Essex this morning with a closer look at the video and update on the search as well. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning to you both. The Coast Guard tells us as many as 19 boats broke loose and started floating down the Connecticut River yesterday, really in one big clump or multiple large clumps. But the search is going to continue this morning. Now, the tricky part is those boats and the pieces of the dock could be literally anywhere between Glastonbury and Old Saybrook at this point, really going into the Sound. We've taken a chance here in Essex this morning, keeping an eye out for any of those rogue boats. They really, again, they could be anywhere. They could have gotten caught anywhere at this point. The Coast Guard tells us that 4 of the Glastonbury Marina docks broke apart and began floating away yesterday, with anywhere from 6 to 19 boats attached to the various pieces. Coast Guard and local rescue crews were able to find some of the boats and the dock pieces during their initial search yesterday afternoon. Some of the boats were even reported turned up in private coves and beaches. The Coast Guard tells us they stopped their search for the night by about 9:45, but they plan to pick it back up sometime this morning morning. But again, knowing where to start is the hard part. With a really strong current currently in the river, the boats could be anywhere, possibly even making it as far as the Long Island Sound as of this morning. First responder units tell us this dock literally broke apart due to the strain of the swollen river putting too much pressure on it. Now combine the high river levels and the large unit of boats floating down the river, responders say they are hoping that no bridges or other objects are hit and then, of course, subsequently damaged at this point. So it's kind of a race against time to try to find all of these pieces, and even more of a race against time because, like Matt said, we're getting more rain starting tonight, and then that's going to continue throughout the weekend. So these high river levels are already problematic, and it's just going to get worse. It's really just getting started, even though we've been on this for a few days as we go throughout the weekend. Live in Essex, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks. And Erica, you were just pointing out, chances are people are out walking about this morning. If you see anything, call them in because they're on the search. Brooke, good luck out there. We will check back in again at 7 o'clock. We're going to continue the conversation on flooding now along the Connecticut River. The rising waters have been devastating for one farmer in Glastonbury. Yesterday, Fox 61 visiting Botticello Farms, where nearly all of the crops on that farm, so sad, underwater.
I took all of our money and put it in the ground, and I was going to say, I hope it grows. And it did. It was beautiful. It was looking great. And then this happened.
That's Tony there. He also says that his team grew about 120 acres this year, and about half of that is corn, some of which, fortunately, may be able to be salvaged because it's up on higher ground.
6:06, and this morning, Vermont is bracing for more rain as it deals with cleaning up from the catastrophic flooding earlier this week. Yesterday, Governor Phil Scott, along with Senators Bernie Sanders and Peter Welch, toured damaged homes and businesses. Volunteers coming in with shovels to clear out mud and damaged items. FEMA's administrator promised resources from the Biden administration as residents work to clean up.
We will continue to send additional resources as we work with the governor and his team to understand what the needs are as we go into the recovery phase.
Now, since Sunday, crews rescued more than 200 people and evacuated another 100 across the state. Well, just a few miles north of Montpelier is the Wrightsville Dam, and officials there say that they're still monitoring it after it came within a foot of overflowing on Tuesday. While the threat is over for the time being, more rain is expected this week, and the governor says he is keeping a close eye on it.
We're monitoring the situation and trying to make sure that we allow for some capacity as we can to lower, create more reservoir capacity at Wrightsville in particular.
Governor Scott said these floods surpassed levels that were experienced during Tropical Storm Irene in 2011. Well, this week's flooding is likely going to be a focus of a meeting of the nation's governors today. Governor Ned Lamont is set to lead a session for the Public Health and Disaster Response Task Force, which he co-chairs with the governor of Vermont. The annual National Governors Association meeting is happening in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
In other news this morning at 6 o'clock, police departments across the state working together to help make the roads safer. This after what was the deadliest year in decades on Connecticut's roads. We're taking a closer look at this morning. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane live in North Haven with details here. Lindsay, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, last year, more than 380 people were killed on our state roadways. More than 70 of those people were either pedestrians or bicyclists. The CTDOT says that was the deadliest year in around 3 decades. That's why police from across the state are teaming up to try to get those numbers down to 0. The South Central Regional Traffic Squad, made up of the Branford, the East Haven, the North Branford, North Haven, and Madison police departments, are teaming up for what's called the Summer Enforcement Campaign. The goal is to ensure road safety by making sure drivers are following the rules of the road to reduce crashes and create safer roadways for everyone. Police will be watching for speeding, distracted driving, aggressive driving, DUI, and checking for unregistered vehicles as well. Police say they believe the summer enforcement program will help save lives. In addition to the more than 300 fatalities in 2022, there were also at least 200 serious injuries from the roadways. Police will take enforcement action if necessary. The summer enforcement program officially kicks off today, so you can expect to see more of a police presence around the roads in those areas. Police also say a big part of the program is just raising awareness for drivers. They hope by raising public awareness about road safety that will actually help reduce some of the reckless driving behaviors across the state. Live in North Haven this morning, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, let's all stay safe this summer. Lindsay, thank you for that. Meanwhile, a lawsuit that tried to overturn a ban on guns in state parks and forests has been thrown out by a federal judge. Connecticut law says someone can only have a gun at a state park or forest for hunting small game. They're also allowed for other approved activities like hunter education classes or shooting at a range, but those can only be done at approved times by DEEP, and you'll need a permit. The suit claimed the rule violated the Second Amendment. This morning, 7 state park swimming areas closed because of the presence of bacteria in the water. This coming after all the heavy rains and flooding we have seen over the course of the last couple of days. Wharton Brook, Gay City, Gardner Lake, Lake Warmog, Mount Tom, Squance Pond, and Indian Well State Park all impacted here. At Gardner Lake in Salem, people were still swimming and enjoying a day in the water, but surprised to hear about the bacteria.
I'm very surprised because there's a huge crowd here, and I would not have come here today if I had known. We came here because we knew Rocky Neck was closed, and we live close by, so we figured this was an alternate option.
Another guest also told us they believe the sign posted at the entrance warning swimmers of high bacteria should stand out and be clearer to those driving into the park.